Hey, Do Not God. I've been thinking about you last couple days because I've been working on some mental habits of mine that I feel that I've kind of worked in rather well, maybe too well, since I want to set about deconstructing some of my mental armory, my mental techniques for dealing with different things. And I remember when she said something about maybe it's too late for me as far as approaching things from angles that aren't already in your toolbox. For instance, some people are saying, and you have some excellent channels where you're very straightforward, not really disrespectful to people. You're just kind of like you're really energized as far as your side of the topic. And I've seen some nature stuff that you've done that's been really good. And I guess what I'm thinking about is when you said, like I'm a funny guy, but I'm got a project. This is serious business to me. But I'm starting to think now within myself that maybe I should have spent more time building up tools that didn't necessarily seem immediately pertaining to what I wanted to get done. Like with the fight I wanted to fight. It's kind of like I was just watching the samurai movie where different samurais, like in their off time, you just kind of get a glimpse of their off life where they're playing music or drawing or reciting poetry. And it struck me that sometimes to be good at what you want, you have to take a break from it or do something completely different. I mean, there's a whole wide variety of reasons I could see why that would be the case and why that would be true. So I guess what I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying to you and what I'm saying about myself is that the brain being chemical and electrical could get itself into situations that, say you decide that maybe it's not too late for me. But if it is too late for me, it would have been my own doing. It would have been my own kind of entrenching myself in what I thought was, good techniques for attacking and defending and for surviving. Maybe I made a mistake a long time ago. I'm starting to see now that certain defensive techniques of mine have become so ingrained that they take place with an awful lot, like, autonomically. And I wish to now start to build up techniques to help dismantle those defensive reactions and attack reactions, and start cultivating a little bit more joyful reactions and techniques for dealing with the best of what I find rather than the worst and what makes me angry. I'm starting to feel a little lopsided, and I think that I made recently I made some progress with deconstructing my inner misanthrope that I thought was just astounding. Like I've totally disconnected a lot of stimuli that used to really anger me and frustrate me. And now I kind of equate them to the rain or the snow. Like when you go out in the rain, you get wet. When you go out in the snow, you get cold. You don't get angry at the rain or the snow. It's just certain things are going to happen. And it seems to me that certain circumstances have just the same amount of personal, I don't know, like it's not personal. It's more natural. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't make it stop raining. You just have to deal with it. So, I made great progress with that. I'm like, oh my gosh, things get so much better. And then I tried to push it past that point, and suddenly, like, my inner misanthrope stood up and said, hey, hold on a second. You can't totally take down the structure that you've built, because how do you know that I'm not really, really effective and I'm not responsible for a lot of the protection in your life? like maybe my inner misanthrope is responsible for making me as happy as I am. And if it is responsible for making me as sad as I am, then maybe it has been doing that for like 20 years, and suddenly I would get to the point where I would have to look back over 20 years and think, oh my gosh, I've done the wrong thing. I took the wrong path to kind of defend my psyche and my emotions. For 20 years now, I've been making a mistake. So it's one or the it seems to me it's almost like one or the other. Wide variety of gray area, but it seems to me that my misanthrope is either useful and shouldn't be completely dismantled, or it's been undermining me for 20 years, and if I find out that to be the case, it's going to kind of shake me up. I'm almost afraid to be shook up like that. So I don't know. Anyway, dear night, God. Hope I'm not writing comments that piss you off. I suspect I might be writing a few. But of course, it's not intentional. And I have great respect for you. And thanks for listening. I'll see you in the tubes.